The Necron story is one of ancient betrayal. Eons ago, 60 million years before the 41st millennium, the Necron race reigned supreme over the galaxy. However, as their great empire grew ever wider and more diverse, the unity that had once made them strong was eroded, and bitter rebellions known as the First Wars of Succession erupted as entire realms fought for independence. The Triarch, the ruling council of Necron, realized that only the threat of an external enemy would bring unity once more, and saw the Old Ones as the perfect subjects for the wrath of their race. Already jealous of the Old Ones' seemingly eternal lifespans, the Necron went to war with the Old Ones. The Separatists abandoned their rebellion, and the War in Heaven began. The War in Heaven was one of the bloodiest wars in galactic history, and it soon became apparent that the Necron could never defeat the Old Ones and their master of the warp, despite their advanced technology. On the verge of total defeat, the unity of the Necron began to fracture once more in the Second Wars of Succession. The Triarchs again desperately searched for a unifying force, and their prayers were answered by the ancient and godlike Satan, who were drawn to the Necron by the beacon of their raw hatred for the Old Ones. Seeking the aid of these all-powerful star gods, the Necron sought the favour of the Satan and constructed bodies of living metal to contain their essence. So it was that a Satan known as the Deceiver came before Zarek, the Silent King, Lord of the Triarch, telling the Silent King that his kind had also fought and been defeated by the Old Ones, and were now looking for vengeance, promising them not only victory in the War in Heaven, but also the immortality every Necron craved. The Silent King and the Triarch eagerly agreed to an alliance, and so forever doomed their race. Beginning the great biotransference, the weak flesh of the Necron was replaced with immortal bodies of living metal. The Satan drank of the torrent of cast-off life and energy and grew stronger as Zarek, now in a machine body himself, realized he had made a terrible mistake. The Necron may now be immortal and unified, but they had lost their souls in the process. Thus, the soulless machines, known as the Necrons, were born. With the Satan and Necrons fighting as one, the Old Ones were overwhelmed and defeated in a bloody purge across the galaxy that saw whole systems devoured by the reality-warping powers of the Star Gods and legions of immortal Necron warriors who managed to infiltrate the webway and assail the Old Ones at every corner of the galaxy. The Necrons burst into the Old Ones' strongest fortresses, overcoming their magics and technology, and forced the Old Ones to seed planets with life to help fight the Satan, including the Eldar and Orcs. Ultimately, and increasingly desperate, the Old Ones were themselves wiped out after mistakenly unleashing warp spawn perils, such as the Enslavers. Throughout the final stages of the War in Heaven, Zarek bided his time, waited for the moment where the Satan would be most vulnerable. With the Old Ones finally defeated, the Silent King struck and led a Necron revolt against the arrogant Satan. The Necrons focused the unimaginable energies of the living universe into weapons too mighty for even the Satan to endure. The Satan, almost impossible to destroy, entirely due to their very nature, were instead shattered into shards. Yet even with defeat of both the Old Ones and Satan, the Silent King saw that the time of the Necrons was, for the moment, over. The mantle of galactic domination would soon pass to the Eldar, who had fought alongside the Old Ones in the War in Heaven. The Necrons, weakened by the War in Heaven and the revolt against the Satan, could not stand against them. Yet the Silent King knew that the time of the Eldar would pass, as did the time of all flesh. So it was that the Silent King ordered the remaining Necron cities to be transformed into great tomb complexes, threaded with stasis crypts. The Necrons were laid to rest, ordered to sleep for 60 million years and then reawaken, ready to rebuild all that was lost and restore the dynasties to their former glory. Yet the Silent King did not join his subjects. Destroying the command protocols by which he had controlled his people, the Silent King left the galaxy, there to find whatever measure of solace or penance he could. For 60 million years the Necrons remained in their deathless slumber, in their tombs in what became known as the Great Sleep. As time passed, many tomb worlds fell prey to malfunction or ill fortune. Some were destroyed by marauding Eldar. These failures destroyed millions, if not billions, of dormant Necrons. But when the tomb worlds did begin to reawaken, it was not simultaneously. Some awoke to see the Great Crusade, others during the Age of Apostasy. Most, however, awoke during the later years of Millennium 41. Behind the green eyes of every Necron warrior, as immortal and eternal as he may be, lays a story of sorrow, a story of yearning and longing, a story of wanting to be back as flesh with a soul.